Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
The Cardinals return home to St. Louis after a short 3-game trip to Philadelphia. A very important 9-game homestand begins tonight. The Cardinals hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. These two clubs faced off in early May, and it was all St. Louis, and it was all Carlos Beltran. A 2-home run night against tonight's starter, Ian Kennedy. Glad you're with us. Rick Horton with Al Raboski. And Al, you look at this series, very important series for both clubs. The Cardinals wanted to turn out just as it did in Arizona.
Well, Arizona was not a very good ball club when we saw them in May. But now they feel that they are a contending team. Both these teams, like last season, making a late season surge, and both of them think they have playoff potential.
We're going to look at players from both clubs who've been very good since the All-Star break. That's next on Fox Sports Midwest. Is enjoying an outstanding season, both offensively and defensively. We're going to look at 5 other impact players in this series who are having very, very good seasons. Carlos Beltran made his 7th All-Star game back in July. Hasn't slowed down since. Already 8 home runs in the second half for Beltran, and he's driven in a run in each of his last 4 games. Only a few players have more home runs than Beltran in the second half, and Jason Kubel is one of them. He has hit home runs more frequently than any NL player since the break, and he's just 3 home runs shy of his career high. Every time Beltran drives in a run, so does Matt Holliday. They're still the top 2 RBI men in the league. But in the second half, Holliday leads the team with 23 runs driven in. Matching Holliday's 23 RBIs in the second half is Arizona's Miguel Montero. He's already more than halfway to his first half RBI total of 45 and has a .327 career average here in St. Louis. Finally, Matt Carpenter has made the most of his at-bats in the second half, only 52 of them, but his .365 average since the break leads the team and is among the league leaders. Which of these impact players will contribute tonight? We'll find out soon. It's the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Voice of Cardinal fans for many, many years. We've been showing a segment all season long that involves the fans. We call it Up for Grabs.
That's beautiful. Jeez. That's just grabbed by a fan. Brought the glove, Joe.
That's how you do it, son.
Great catch. What are you trying to do? Hit me?
Oh, that young man's got himself a souvenir.
Oh, yeah. You got their gloves, you make a play. Back to the future. That is a DeLorean on skis.
Give that fan a contract.
Just go home.
That's the first Major League home run for Manny Machado. And that guy better start thinking about what he wants in return for that home run ball. And Manny Machado, in his second Major League game, has hit 2 home runs.
The same young man got the baseball as caught the first home run.
Give me a shot.
the National League Central. We'll be tracking all night long. The Reds are hosting the Mets. No score that game in the third inning. And the Pirates are hosting the Dodgers. They're just underway. No score there as well. Here at Busch, it's Joe Kelly. He is looking for win number 3. It's Cardinal baseball, and it's next. Brought to you by Bud Light Line. Summer is calling. Grab some Buds. By your Mid-America Chevy dealers, the #1 selling brand in St. Louis. Find us at stlchevy.com. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, just no equal. Beautiful night in St. Louis. Homestand begins here with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And here is the order for Kirk Gibson's crew. Stephen Drew will lead off and play shortstop, followed by Aaron Hill, Jason Kubel, one of the league's hottest hitters, Paul Goldschmidt, also having a good season at close to 300, Justin Upton, Miguel Montero, Ryan Wheeler, the third baseman, Gerardo Parra will be in center field in bat 8th, and Ian Kennedy will pitch in bat 9th for the D-backs. And on the mound for St. Louis, rookie right-hander Joe Kelly. His stats brought to you by Enterprise Bank and Trust.
Making his 12th Major League start. He's 1-3 with a good ERA of 3.32 in 7 career home starts. He is coming off his roughest start against San Diego last week. Went 5 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs, only 4 earned. So he'd like to atone to that. Giving up a lot of hits, 19 hits in his last 10 2/3 innings, but he has 1 victory to show for that.
Defense behind Joe Kelly here tonight for game 1 of this series. Holiday, Jay, and Beltra on the A lineup. In the outfield, Freeze for Carl Schumacher, Alan Craig on the infield. Molina behind the plate, our Dobbs Cardinals defense. Very important homestand. Cardinals with a number of games here at home in the middle of a big stretch where they're trying to make some noise in the Central, and it's strike 1 from Joe Kelly. Mike Matheny's team looking for that spark and looking for that big win streak, and we've been waiting for that to happen. Kirk Gibson now thinking the same way.
And Kirk Gibson, last year's National League Manager of the Year. Remember, a year ago we saw them very early. They didn't look like much of a team, and then they responded late. Saw them early this year. The Cardinals swept them out in the desert, but they have come on. They're a 500 club right now, but they think they're right in the middle of it. They didn't have Stephen Drew at the beginning of the season. He was out with a fractured right ankle.
And it was a terrible fracture. Had him explain to me what happened, and I kind of got more of the story than I wanted to know, and he really took a long time to come back, Al, and he's been a solid player for this team the last 6 seasons.
He is going to be a free agent after this year, and because of how long it took him, their ownership was a little upset with him. Saying you play for the Diamondbacks, not for your future ball club. But we've seen in the past he is a pretty good player when he is healthy.
Just below that all-star tier, I would say. There's a strike on the inside corner, and that's how this game starts. Call third strike. Kelly off to a good start. Very important for these Cardinal starters to have a good first inning.
Well, we're going to see that Kelly doesn't look like he's big or imposing, but he throws with a lot of heart. That was 96 with movement. Goes out there, he has secondary pitches that have improved since he's been here, and also a good changeup, but it's the fastball.
It's an interesting delivery too, where he throws from, say, 3/4, maybe even a bit below that, and looks like one of those pitchers you think would have control issues, but that really hasn't been a problem for him this year. There's another strike and a ground ball. Freeze throws out Aaron Hill.
Joe Kelly's been impressive in the fact that nothing really phases him. He's not in awe of the situation. He's very confident but not cocky. And one thing he's learned, and Derek Lilliquist will tell you, that it really helps to pitch ahead in the count. You can get hitters to get themselves out. A lot of us get ahead in the count, and then hitters will expand their zone trying to be defensive.
Be careful with this guy. Jason Kubel having an outstanding season. Strike one at the knees to him. He's hit just 158 in his last 15 games, so he's in a bit of a slump, and he struck out a ton. But his power numbers very, very good.
25, that's about good for about third. He led the National League with 11 home runs in July and was tied for second with Holiday with 22 RBIs in July.
Shift is on for Kubel. Fouls that pitch off. For Call playing up the middle. Schumacher extremely to pull on the right side. And off the line at third is Freeze.
Kubel hit 3 home runs on my birthday.
No better way to celebrate.
I didn't like it, but
right.
7th player in D-backs history to do that.
Hard hit to left. Holiday starts in, and then he can't get it over his head. Up against the wall, and it's going to be a 2-out double on a ball that was misplayed a bit by Matt Holliday. Not sure he would have caught it anyway, but he took that first step in on a ball hit very hard the other way by Kubel.
25th double for Kubel. And a ball up. You'd prefer to get that down a little bit, but there's what you're saying, that he really didn't get a good read on it. And it's tough, that line drive right at you. But being a corner outfielder, it's a little easier than, say, a center fielder, that at least you can play it off to the side and see the height of it. Get out Goldschmidt, and nobody will say a thing.
And strike one to the Diamondbacks first baseman, who hitting .299, 34 doubles on the season. And the Diamondbacks, many in their camp believe that he could have been, maybe should have been, an all-star.
Well, we know he has tremendous power.
Interesting batting stance.
It worked for him. 4th in the National League with 34 doubles. Hit .367 on the road. Spread out. We've seen hitters kind of waggle the bat down there. But then look how he holds it as the pitcher comes ready. That barrel just pointing down. You would think it would make it a very long swing.
You would.
Just a point under 300. 14 home runs, or 16 home runs, 61 RBIs, but Nothing looks weird until you go there. The barrel pointing down. How do you get a quick to the ball?
And like most hitters, he'll do a bit of an adjustment to that as the pitcher is starting to deliver home, and that may be part of his trigger. But your point is, it's a long path for that barrel to go from hanging down below his back to the center of the strike zone.
It really doesn't move it that much quicker.
And he gets him out inside.
Good place to pitch him.
You bet. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Kelly. Good start for St. Louis. John Jay, Alan Craig, Matt Holliday, 1, 2, 3, followed by Beltran, Freese, and Molina in the middle. Skip Schumacher will bat 7th. Rafael Furcal's the shortstop, and Joe Kelly will pitch in bat 9th. And Ian Kennedy, 21-4 a year ago.
4th in the Cy Young a year ago. This year, a little different. 1 game over 500. He lost his last time to Pittsburgh, and that broke a string of 4 straight victories. Former #1 draft pick of the Yankees. That was back in 06, his 3rd season with the D-backs.
Those numbers brought to you by Enterprise Bank and Trust. Kennedy, not a big, burly pitcher at 5'11", 190, but his first pitch is successful, and John Jay is retired. The D-backs, 4th in the National League in defense. Very good arms in the outfield. Kubel, Hara, and Upton. Wheeler, the rookie, at short. Drew and Hill up the middle. Goldschmidt, the first baseman. Miguel Montero. Only 1 catcher in the National League with a better caught stealing percentage than him, and that's the Cardinal catcher, Yadier Molina.
Montero's a pretty good all-around player.
Sure is.
Good offensive numbers, and as you mentioned, very good at throwing out base stealers.
Solid season for Alan Craig. Like most of the Cardinals in this lineup, batting over 300. Two outs for the Cardinals in the bottom of the first. Our Toyota keys to the game. Ian Kennedy has fared very well out west, but not quite so well against the rest of Major League Baseball teams.
And count the Cardinals as one of those rest of the baseball that beat him earlier in the desert. And really, I should say, Beltran beat him.
Single-handedly.
Right. 2 home runs, and drove in all 6 runs in a 6-1 Cardinal win.
It was a Jake Westbrook victory.
Cardinals swept them out in the desert. Hoping to do the same here.
Matt Holliday, 2nd in the National League in RBIs. The man on deck, Carlos Beltran. Holliday has hit so many balls hard in the second half. He is 0 for his last 7.
It was so hot in July. Only 200, 3 for 15 on the road trip, but he had the big 3-run bomb over the weekend.
1-2, popped up on the right side. Goldschmidt just in foul territory, retires Holiday. 1-2-3 inning for Kennedy. Again, Coke Zero and Walmart are proud to sponsor the official 2012 team banner on Friday. 25,000 fans entering with a ticket will be able to display their Cardinals spirit with this 2-by-6 foot hanging banner featuring the 2012 Cardinals team. And just how good will this team be when we get to October? That is the million-dollar question. The Cardinals and the Diamondbacks both feel like these games matter to them. The wild card race is still up for grabs, and the Cardinals have it for the taking if they could just figure it out, Al.
Oh, and you really do look at the wild card, and knowing the quality of Cardinal baseball team, I don't see any way they don't make it one of the 2 wild cards at the very least, and they have enough time. If they get on a hot streak, they can catch Cincinnati.
And we'd all agree that it would be disappointing if they don't at least be a wild card team.
I mean, you know, one of the 2.
Justin Upton leading off the second for Arizona. 2-0 pitches in at the knees. Upton having an off year as far as his normal kind of year is concerned at 273. Very good player. Hard hit to short for Call. Can't get it. It sneaks under his glove. Second hit of the night for the Diamondbacks. And Upton runs well.
Kyle playing in the hole a bit, so he has to go to his left. He dives for it and actually extends his glove further than the ball. But a good effort, and just the way he was placed, if he was more straight up at shortstop, he makes that play easy, but playing deeper in the hole comes up empty.
Miguel Montero Al has mentioned how solid a player he is. Take strike one, has a very good understanding of the strike zone. 54 walks to lead the team, plus a nice batting average and some pop to go along with it.
You see, he leads all catchers with 68 RBIs in his last 18 games. He's hit 365. Second in the major leagues with a 467 on base percentage since July 19.
Hard hit the second. Nice play by Schumacher. And the Cardinals turn the double play. Wow, that was a nice play.
Very
4-6-3.
We think of Schumacher as more of the offensive second base, but there he shows you he can flash the leather also. And a nice job to get to this ball. Play is headed to left field, and then he has a strong throwing arm, perfect there for Fakal. He's able to avoid the runner coming down on him. So he spears the ball, and then he return throw, and they get Montero by half a step.
Outstanding play. And that really was the only way Fakal could go on that turn. He had to back up. The runner, Upton, with his good speed right on top of him.
And like you say, you avoid that runner any which way you could, but he also has that good arm strength too, that he could back up and almost throw that ball flat-footed and still have something on the throw. Kelly in the minor leagues, remember, he was second in the Pacific Coast League in ERA with a losing record, and one thing he did down there was throw a lot of double play balls.
And that fastball was his 15th pitch tonight at 95 or better.
We showed a graphic a couple weeks ago when I was doing a post-game show, and he was fifth in it was either fourth or fifth in the National League in velocity for National League starters. He was averaging over 94 miles an hour.
And an 0-2 pitch he'd like to have back.
Our first look at Ryan Wheeler. Just the fact that that ball's up a little bit, and good piece of hitting from the young man that was promoted from Double-A as he went with the pitch. He had 89 RBIs at the time of his promotion.
Hitting a cool 351 in Triple-A. He really has come out of nowhere. Wheeler, just 24 years of age.
I mean, last year when he was at Double-A.
Gerardo Parra just 3 for his last 23, dropping to the 8th spot in the Diamondbacks lineup. Fouls off the 1-0 pitch.
He's kind of moved Chris Young into a platoon situation, and Chris Young was at the beginning of the season was probably the second hottest player in all of baseball to Kemp for the Dodgers, and then he got hurt his shoulder in a collision at the wall, and he struggled somewhat since that time. Chris Young
hitting just .212 for Arizona. The 1-1.
And Ricky, 173 in the 61 games since returning from the DL. Chris Young, but he had a great start.
Normally a 25 to 30 home run player. Upton, we mentioned, numbers even better than that. Schumacher has another one. Very nice defensive inning for Skip Schumacher. It'll be Beltran, Freese, and Molina in the Cardinals' second. led service project in Belleville on Saturday. It's expected to be the largest project yet from the Summer Service Slam campaign. We need your help. Reserve your spot online at missioncontinues.org. No score, bottom of the second. Carlos Beltran has hit the Diamondbacks well and a very memorable night against Ian Kennedy in early May.
2-run home run the first time up. Second inning, he hit a grand slam, accounting for all 6 RBIs against Kennedy in a 6-1 Cardinal win.
Good fastball. 2-1 now to Beltran.
But in that game, after the grand slam, Kennedy really shut down the Cardinals for end up going 7 innings. 7 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs, all earned on the 2 home runs by Beltran.
High fly ball should work its way out of play. Goldschmidt trying to run it down. And Carlos Beltran wasn't the only Cardinal to have good series in Arizona.
Cardinals swept the Diamondbacks, so it takes more than just one player. Not only average, but home runs and RBIs from the game.
Very interesting numbers on Carlos Beltran. First 3 innings, Carlos Beltran is batting .347, and innings 4 and later just .247.
And most of his home runs have come early in the games, too.
And we mentioned the importance of early scoring. The Cardinals starters have had some games where they've given up runs in that first, and the Diamondbacks have showed they're a much better team when they score first.
Right.
True of everybody,
First,
but really true of them. Breaking pitch, call third strike. Catches the inside corner. First strikeout for Ian Kennedy.
A lot different this time around as the breaking ball right there. The curveball. He really, if his cutter is working, he can bring that in on the right hand or the left-handed batters. It's not working. He's kind of more the changeup.
David Freese takes strike 1. David Freese really struggling the last week or so. Average still at 300, but he is 0 for his last 16. Watch out.
Coming in again.
Bit of a Michigan flavor here at the ballpark when you play the Diamondbacks. The Cardinals manager Mike Matheny, of course, from Michigan. Watch out. Kennedy makes the play in self-defense to throw out David Freese. Kirk Gibson, of course, from Michigan State, where he was an outstanding football player. And the home plate umpire is also from the state of Michigan, Scott Berry.
Tapper back to the mound. He throws out David Freese. It's 5 in a row set down.
There's our Michigan connection.
Both our managers really hard-nosed players, but one a little more vocal than the other.
Ground ball up the middle. Tough play for Drew, but he makes it. Throws out Molina. 6 up, 6 down for the Cardinals. No score through 2 at Busch. iPad, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Cardinals.com for details. A Willie McGee powder blue jersey. Doesn't get any better than that. Maybe the most exciting player that I've ever seen play the game of baseball. And just a tad more exciting than Jim Hayes, who joins us for the third. Jim, good to have you with us.
Nice to see you, gentlemen.
And we will get all kinds of updates from Jim as this inning progresses. Joe Kelly back to work facing Ian Kennedy. Batting average at just .059. So throw this man strikes. 1-1 the count. No score in the early going, and one of the things that's going on with the Cardinals as we speak is Jaime Garcia is getting a start concurrently with Joe Kelly's start here tonight, and that's happening, Jim, in Memphis.
Mike Matheny saying all goes well, penciled in possibility that Jaime would start on Sunday for the Cardinals in his return to the big club, which means that Joe Kelly's role would have to be determined. So Mike was talking before the game about the speculation as to where Kelly will end up. Maybe go down, start until they call him back up or into the bullpen. He said it can be a distraction. I talked to Joe Kelly. He's one of the pitchers that on the day of a start doesn't mind if you go and say hi to him. And he said,
the Jeff Suppan type.
Yeah, or Jake Westbrook. And I asked him if there was any distraction going on, and he said, none at all. I'm not paying attention to that. I just want to go out there and pitch. And I think he's one of the guys that, especially for a young pitcher, has the ability to insulate himself from whatever the speculation might be. But we all agree he's been rather impressive, and this is 12 big league start.
And he deserves more, Al, than his record shows.
And he had a string of 7 quality starts and really didn't have only 1 win to show for it. He's had the good ERA. It's come down, or he went up with that last start, but it's still at 330.
Hasn't gotten a ton of support during that stretch of 7 straight quality starts. Cardinals lost 5 of those games.
5 of his quality starts.
Just 4.4 runs per game compared to the 5.9 that Lance Lynn gets. Hard hit ball to John Jay, and he misplays it. The ball goes over his head. Stephen Drew is headed for third. That ball hit right on the money. That may have knuckled in center field because John Jay struggled with that ball right off the bat.
And we know that John Jay has been flawless in the field. He has not made an error. It's pretty tough to give an error on this ball, but I'm sure John would tell you the first one that he should have had it. Wasn't sure which way to go, and then it took off on him, and he leaves his feet, and it goes off the top of his glove. But it was the poor jump that really kept him from getting into a good position to catch that ball. They have not ruled on that yet. And now it is a triple. Would have been very difficult to give an error, but
a ball he normally catches.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd be the first one to tell you that that he would normally catch that ball. And I think there is some truth to that possibility of the knuckling.
Infield in for the Cardinals. Joe Kelly trying to pitch around that misplay. That's something, Al, that a pitcher needs to learn how to do, is not give up a lot of unearned runs. That's something that's been an issue with Joe Kelly.
I showed you one of the things as we take a look at the infield, but coming into this action, he had allowed 32 total runs, but of those 32, 24 were earned. And you do have to learn how to pitch around other people's mistakes. Not every time can you do it, but some of those you think you'd be able to save and have it not come back and haunt either yourself or a fielder. He's made a couple errors himself.
Pitch low to Aaron Hill. Aaron Hill has hit for the cycle twice this year. He did it in the same month, the month of June.
One of the things that Mike Matheny points to in regard to Joe Kelly, what he likes about him, even when there has been some hijinks in some of his starts, Kelly has settled down. And Mike says that that's a sign of maturity that he's able to get back into it.
Well, we've all seen pitchers that when things go south on them, that they go south too, and they can't recover. So that's what Mike's talking about. We've also seen and I'm not suggesting Kelly is one, but we've seen pitchers that are very comfortable when they get behind too.
Ball 4, he walks Aaron Hill. That sets up a potential double play, but he's going to have to do it against a hitter who has put up big numbers, Jason Kubel. Did 77 RBIs, third in the National League, and the Cardinals use a ground ball here.
He hit a line drive out to left field that Holiday was fooled on.
Strike one at the knees to Kubel. Wide stance for Kubel. Change up. Way out in front, 0-2. Good pitch there.
That's a good pitch he has to combat left-handers. Can use it more probably for lefties and righties, but he likes to use it a lot with the left-handed batter.
5 lefties in the lineup for Kirk Gibson. In fact, all of his lefties are in the lineup. The entire bench hits from the right side. Drew and Hill, the runners. The 0-2. Jams him and he fouls it back. Take a look at the RBI leaders in the National League. Kubel has an opportunity here. 3 of the 4 atop the league are at the ballpark tonight.
Nice to see 2 Cardinals, first and second. That has never happened in Cardinals history, to have 2 guys at the end of the season be 1 and 2 in the RBI leadership.
The 0-2. This is low. So an important situation early on for Joe Kelly. Here's the look at the Cardinals defense behind him. Outfield fairly deep. Shading him a bit the other way. Infield a little bit more straight up than the last at bat. Ground ball to second. Schumacher to Percal. Has trouble getting out of his glove, but turns a double play. Joe Kelly gets just what he wanted. Another 4-6-3. to you by the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freertv. Rethink possible. MyKiaSt.Louis.com. And get the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. It's a no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. Bottom of the third inning, no score. Rick Horton, Al Raboski, and Jim Hayes with us here in the third inning. And Cardinals Jim had some news and an announcement today regarding one of their relievers, Brian Fuentes.
Yeah, he goes on the restricted list. According to the general manager, John Mozeliak, he got a call from Brian who said he had a personal situation that he had to tend to and he couldn't pitch for the Cardinals for the time being. Mo said he didn't ask what that situation was, respected it, and he doesn't believe that Fuentes will pitch for the Cardinals again this season. So they brought up Trevor Rosenthal, who impressed a bunch of people with his short stint when he was up before.
Sure did. Schumacher bounces out. He is now 0 for his last 7, and Ian Kennedy has not allowed a Cardinal hit yet. And how does that impact the Cardinals, Al, in your opinion?
Well, unfortunately, you wanted to have the veteran leadership of Fuentes, but I think Trevor will be that much better off having pitched 4 games here, got a little exposure to the big leagues, see what worked, what doesn't work. He'll be that much more comfortable. And I always think it's a plus whenever you can get a guy to come up here and, even when he gets sent back down, you go down with the right attitude, you come right back up, and you feel like you know what to expect now.
Well, we've seen him strike a guy out on a 101-mile-an-hour pitch. That'll do wonders for the confidence. I did talk to him, and he said it does feel a lot different this time. No one's, the faces, knowing where to go, and I think it takes some of the nervousness out of it for him.
No doubt.
He was almost giddy the first time up. Not that you would look at that as a negative, and I don't mean to be critical about that, but he was so excited about it. It was hard to imagine him just kind of being, not that he can't compete that way, but he's just really happy to be here, frankly. And this time maybe he's here with a bit more of a purpose.
Oh, like you say, you're happy to be here. That's not what managers and coaches want to hear.
Right.
But when you get sent back down, you realize, man, I was playing there. I have the ability to be at that level. I want to be back there. And then you forget about just happy to be here, and then you pitched to stay here.
It has such a nice ring to it to us as fans to say that he's happy to be here. But you're right. The managers don't like that.
Well, he's the kind of guy, though, that I think absorbs everything, wants to learn. I think that's just his demeanor. I think he's a little bit different when he goes to the mound, as we see the velocity on the pitches and the nasty intent. You talk about the Cardinals for years. They got power arms in the minor leagues, and he throws at 100. And Joe Kelly, I know you guys were talking about his velocity, but with that delivery, it doesn't seem like he's throwing that hard. You look up at the gun, 96 miles an hour tonight.
3-2 pitch, lined into right center. This is going to get down and get to the wall for Call. Headed to second, and he's thinking about 3. Stand-up triple for Rafael Furcal.
Furcal had only 1 hit on the road trip, 1 for 10, and remember, he was struggling. Part of it due to the sore back and not being 100%, but he can be a difference maker, and I'd like to see that with 1 out. Get yourself over in third. The ball just kind of cut back in the middle of the plate. They have a little trouble with it at the base of the wall, and Upton gets the ball and throws it back in. And that time Ralphie has the triple.
Coming in for Cal. 136 over his previous 12 games. He had the epidural, trying to alleviate the problem with his back. And Mike Matheny was talking about the importance of Furcal even when he's not hitting. He's so important to this team defensively that Mike said they're not worried about the offense. They believe it will come around once Rafael starts feeling better. But he said they're not taking him out unless he needs a breather because he is so important defensively to this team.
And a key part of this inning is Rafael Furcal. He's the runner at third. 1 out triple. Joe Kelly Swings the bat very well. Infield in for the Diamondbacks. The 0-1. Another good swing by Kelly.
Kelly, good athlete, has the ability, especially with the infield in, to find a hole. We know he can run. Oh, 2.
He went to college as a center fielder, and he said he was always a good athlete, can dunk a basketball, has track speed, and we're talking about the glasses, not wearing them while he hits. Part of it, they won't fit under the helmet. The other part, he wants to hit in location. He doesn't want to see the spin because then he'll swing at curveballs, and he doesn't want to get into that. He wants to kind of keep his hitting instincts in check.
Oh, he had for Kyle.
He sure did.
But chose the sure out, and that was at first base.
You can see Furcal hoping that that ball would get over the head of Kennedy off the bat as Kelly pounded that into the dirt and really not going on contact. But if that ball gets over the pitcher's head, maybe he can score.
But he had a couple, he had a secondary lead, and there was enough separation that if Kennedy wanted to, run right at him, get him to commit to back to third, I think he had enough time to throw it. It would have been a tag play, and he chose to go the sure out at first.
John Jay can make that hurt.
I think the way John Jay swinging the bat was, and confidence in Kelly making contact. The squeeze was really not an option there.
Big swing by Jay, comes up empty. 1-1 to the Cardinals center fielder, who hit .385 in Philadelphia on that trip and has his average up to .312. Do you like him in that leadoff spot, gentlemen?
I like it when he's hitting the way he hit at last homestand and on the road. Yeah.
When he's on a roll like he is right now, you don't hear people discussing the moving parts in his swing. When he's locked in, he's locked in.
7-game hitting streak, hitting .536 during that time. Put him any place in the lineup.
And he doesn't really seem to mind where he is, and he responds wherever he is. And there are times where you have to approach your at-bat a little bit differently if you're hitting in that 8th spot or in that 1st spot.
Times I've really had trouble with a guy that said I can't hit in a certain spot.
Right.
You're a hitter, you're a hitter.
Well, his answer to do you change your approach depending on where you're hitting, and he said basically I'm always trying to get on base, so not to a great extent.
Yeah, there is certain responsibilities and changes, but for the most part,
moving runners over.
Yeah.
Expanding your zone if you're hitting in front of a pitcher, for example. Changeup strikes out John Jay. Jim, thanks for the visit. No score through 3.
one-stop shopping for all your mealtime and household needs, and save a trip with a pharmacy at Schnucks too. Save money and time when you fill your prescriptions at Schnucks Pharmacy. Larry Murray, my pharmacist, we're going to go on that big trip in a couple weeks, so we took advantage of the auto refill. And he's going to make sure we have enough medication for the long trip to Europe. That's the Schnucks difference.
Beautiful night in St. Louis. A little bit better than the 100-plus degree weather that we had 2 or 3 weeks ago. Very important homestand for the Cardinals and an important start for the rookie right-hander Joe Kelly, who's been good so far. A couple of ground ball double plays have helped. Montero in the second and Kubel in the third.
That's part of pitching. And that
they didn't just happen, did
no, they? And he kept the ball down, got the ground ball. Hitters were accommodating and hitting the ball hard right at somebody. Of course, the first one was a little more trickery and a nice play by Schumacher.
And there's a lot of truth to that, Al. Bad pitchers don't get double play balls because they don't know how.
And like I said, in the minor leagues, he had a propensity to be able to get those double plays. So if this is Kelly's last start, he's left a very positive impression. Most people would think that he would be moved to the bullpen if Garcia took the start 5 days from now on, I believe it's Sunday, against the Pirates.
And there's certainly an if attached to Jaime Garcia.
Yeah, and it's not certain that this would be his last start either. Be predicated, can he get his pitch count up to where they know he could throw 100 pitches.
Hard hit to right. Beltran on the move. Slides into the warning track to make the play. This MLB on Fox season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Clubs of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports.
One of our favorite ladies. She and her husband celebrated their 52nd wedding anniversary yesterday. Don is an usher here, but Don and Mary Colombato. You know who Mary is?
I sure do.
She assists us with the elevator. So congratulations, 52 years of marriage.
Outstanding. Very special couple. Always good to see Mary. Tough play for Furcal. He gets up. That was not easy. Needed to be a good, strong, firm throw, and that's what he got.
When you think about it, the game ended on somewhat of a similar play as the throw was beaten. Furcal was a little bit deeper and went to set himself on the grass. His foot gave way a little bit, but it was a bang play at first, and the winning run scored on a similar type play.
Maybe
Furcal did everything it could.
Maybe Pierre a bit faster coming out of the left side of the box.
Much faster.
And there are a lot of Cardinal fans trying to forget that play right now.
Oh, there's a lot of Cardinal fans trying to forget about 2 walks to start the bottom of the 8th inning.
I hear you. 1-0 to Miguel Montero. Big swing there. He bounced into one of those double plays in the second.
Big yell from the mound, swing harder.
Right. I yelled that a few times from the dugout.
Oh, from the dugout.
Oh, yeah. Not from the mound, I would say. I don't want anybody to get mad.
I can't think of the pitcher, but had a nasty reputation. American leaguer.
Sounds like you so far.
No, and batter was just digging at the plate. And he said, keep on digging. Stop when it's 6 foot. And that's where I'm going to bury you.
And you sure that's not a memory that you have of something you said?
No.
Are you sure about that?
No, I'm sure. I'd be wasting too much energy to talk that much. It wasn't Sal Magley the barber, but somebody like that. I call him the barber because he did so much chin music.
I never knew that. I've heard that nickname before. Full count to Montero. 2 outs in the D-backs fourth. Curveball misses high. That's his second walk of the night. And he has 3 strikeouts. Ryan Wheeler, the third baseman, having a monster year in AAA. Diamondbacks also have Chris Johnson, who they traded to get, but Wheeler, they're trying to keep him in the lineup as often as possible.
Chris Johnson's really given them a shot in the arm since he's been, come to the Diamondbacks. 13 games. Chris Johnson has 18 RBIs, 5 home runs and 18 RBIs. And like you say, Wheeler went to AA last year, had a great year. Then they went to AAA this year and was just on fire. Gets a promotion and doing a nice job.
Montero is 0 for 0 in stolen base attempts.
Change up to, like I say, he likes to throw this to left-handed batters. Not going to get hurt down there, but you're not going to tempt some hitters.
Speaking of lefties, the Cardinals are going to miss 2 of the Diamondbacks left-handed starters, Wade Miley and Patrick Corbin, who are 2 of their best.
They're rookies.
They're both rookies.
And you're right. They have, this year have had outstanding seasons, and Cardinals have had trouble with rookie pitchers. Better curveball than the one that he walked Montero. That's a pitching that he's working on at this level.
They will see the third left-hander, Joe Saunders. That's tomorrow. It'll be Wainwright pitching for St. Louis, and Loesch and Cahill in the finale of this series.
Curveball again.
Grounded foul.
Now, the Cardinal hitters have seen Saunders. It just seems like when you see a rookie pitcher, the Cardinals have trouble against them. But they did beat Miley out in the desert, didn't they?
They did. He pitched well, but the Cardinals got a couple of runs in the 5th. It was Kyle Loesch's game. Big swing and a miss. Kelly punches out Wheeler. That's his 4th. 4 zeros for the young right-hander. look at the wild card possibles, the 6 clubs that are in this race currently, and we're looking, Al, at the number of times they're going to have to play against teams with winning records. It looks like the Dodgers are going to have the toughest schedule going forward.
Yeah, and either the Dodgers and Giants right now, they're identical records, so we put both of them up there. It's like the Braves have the easiest time. They have to play 16 teams with a winning record, Cardinals 26. But sometimes it's easier to play a team with a winning record, somebody that has something to lose, than to play those spoilers that all they want to do is knock you off. So
they get hot. They're playing with reckless abandon.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you're playing well, it really doesn't matter who you play. So Cardinals, in my mind, still have a great chance, and they have enough time to go and play. I think 6 head-to-head games with Cincinnati. They could take care of their own business. They play the Pirates this weekend, and then they have another trip. They have a tough road trip after this homestand because they go to 3 winning clubs.
Base hit for Alan Craig to lead off the Cardinals fourth.
Got to bring a smile to Magistrate Judge James Daly Wall, who's following every game while he's recovering at Barnes. And, Judge, I'll take care. I'll keep Ricky on probation until you can sentence him. But there's a nice swing by Alan Craig. Just love to see him swing because has that potential to do something exciting. Boy, you could say that about the next 3 or 4 guys.
No doubt. Matt Holliday hits the ball as hard as anybody. And he hits a long one to left. Stay fair. And it does. 2-run shot, Matt Holliday. 2-0 St. Louis.
What did you just say? How hard he can hit a ball? Well, if anybody didn't believe it, you just saw it. Wow.
That ball was crushed.
Thought it had a chance for the upper deck as it went to the left of Big Mac land. That is his 23rd home run. That is one more than he hit all last season. RBIs 80 and 81, 2 behind the league leader, Carlos Beltran, in the batter's box.
437 feet, and he may have broken a seat. Think they'll make him pay for it?
Last homestand, he hit the longest home run here at Busch Stadium 3's history. Look at this blast. What great camera work. You see where it lands. Better than halfway up the third deck.
Two and 2 to Carlos Beltran. How about back-to-back? Check swing. And they're going to call Beltran out. And the jump of the left fielder. Al, let's focus on that.
Well, he ain't going to move. He took one step, and all he's doing is turn around and watch it. What was that? 437. Holiday in last homestand hit one 469. Or the longest one at this stadium, but
that one was just as hard.
Yes, it was. That was to the left of Big Mac land. The 469 was to the right of Big Mac land. That's a long way.
Off balance swing for Freeze on an off speed pitch. David, an all-star for the first time in 2012. Very well deserved.
Go for his last 17, and
Had off day yesterday. Couldn't happen a better time for him, but he's streaking that way.
When he gets off of those bad streaks, he often goes 0 to 60 pretty quick.
He led the major leagues with a .458 batting average and a .562 on base percentage in July. And it all started with walks. Started seeing the ball better, got some walks, and it started paying off.
Sure did. Starting at 4:45 every Friday home game, 200 autograph line tickets will be distributed at the new Busch Bash gate located next to gate 5. Fans with line tickets will receive an autograph at Busch Bash. Ozzie Smith will be there on Friday. That's this Friday at Busch Bash. Visit Cardinals.com/promotions for more details. So you want to see the Wizard? Show up on Friday. Big series over the weekend with the Pirates. And then the Cardinals will take on the Astros.
And good
to finish
news.
Out the homestand.
Good news from Pittsburgh, as they're hosting the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have a 4-0 lead.
Always like it when you bring good news.
So take care of business right here. You only play the game that you're playing. Win that game, and you can kind of scoreboard watch, see if you pick up some ground. I think the Cardinals are going to pick up a game, at least a game, on Pittsburgh before they come in town.
Then you have the opportunity right in front of you.
Exactly.
Hard hit to short. Drew has it. Lead runner at second, and the double play is turned after Hill is dumped by David Freese. But Matt Holliday does the damage in the Cardinals' fourth with a very, very long home run to left. 2-0 St. Louis. Numbers Week. We look back at the numbers of former Cardinals and the stories behind them. Toyota Cardinals Live tomorrow at 6:30, followed by the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. That game tomorrow begins at 7 p.m. on Fox Sports Midwest. Matt Holliday, the hero of the moment. 2-0 St. Louis. 2-run shot, the difference in this game. Joe Kelly back to work. Gerardo Parra, Kennedy, and Drew scheduled to hit in the fifth.
That's a swing. That wasn't quite a swing like that. But let him think he's Hercules.
Oh, that was priceless, wasn't it? Look of frustration. Leap and a grab by Schumacher. As if he was saying, I don't know how he hit that pitch.
That's what he was saying. Acting like it jammed him.
Well, there is a school of thought to pitch Matt Holliday up and in.
Oh, I believe it. But in order to hit a ball there, you know, he cleared his hips and got a good part of the wood on it.
Strike on the outside corner to Kennedy. One of 4 strikeout victims for Joe Kelly. The 0-2. Misses. In case you missed it earlier and have joined us a little bit later in this game, the Cardinals put Brian Fuentes on the restricted list for personal reasons and have called up Trevor Rosenthal back in the Cardinals bullpen. There's a strike on the outside corner. 2 outs in the 5th. This Wednesday at McDonald's, buy 1 Big Mac or quarter pounder with cheese and get another for just 15 cents. You can also get $5 Cardinal tickets. McDonald's. Those folks almost got the Matt Holliday home run. Pulled it a little bit to the left. Those are actually very fun seats to watch a ball game in, too. That ball hit very hard to center. Jay on the move at the wall and bobbles it and makes the catch. High stepping is John Jay. And the crowd loves it here at Busch Stadium. The leap and the grab. Season. This week's dynamic deal: catch a game in style with an all-inclusive ticket as low as $50. The Cardinals host the Mets September 3rd through the 5th. Get yours at cardinals.com or by phone at 314-345-9000. Schumacher, 1 hopper to second. I think the play by John Jay needs to be seen one more time.
Another defensive gem as he goes back on this drive, crashes into the wall, loses the ball, then it's a juggling act, and he holds on to it.
So another web gem for John Jay. Descalzo was catching up to him. Now add one more for John Jay, and that's indicative of the fielding he's shown this year.
We saw him misplay a ball early on, and that's more of an aberration. He's a guy that typically gets a very good jump. We saw it there. Good jump and good hands.
Very good.
One thing to get there, but you still have to catch it. Half swing by Furcal. Play made by Drew. Every time I think about good hands, I think of Jim Edmonds. Not only could Jimmy make the right route to a ball, but his hands were so good. What's on tap tomorrow? The Cardinals hosting the Diamondbacks for Game 2. Saunders and Wainwright, 10 and 10. Coverage begins at 6:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. What's on tap, as always, brought to you by our good friends at Budweiser.
How about Adam Wainwright? That too. 10 and 10 now. He's 4-0 with a 1.53 ERA in his last 4 home starts. Hopefully that trend will continue.
Cardinals have won their last 5 games against the Diamondbacks dating back to last year, which includes the sweep in Arizona in May. And if you can get through a game with Joe Kelly against Ian Kennedy, you like the matchups in Game 2 and 3 better. Wainwright and Loesch.
Right. So, but this is the most important game. It's the only one we play tonight. It's an old cliche, but
there's a lot to it.
But it's really the way that you have to look at it. The only game you can control is the one you're playing. Can't win tomorrow or the next day.
Tomorrow has enough trouble of its own.
Exactly. Can't sweep unless you win the first one. Now Loesch will follow Wainwright. He's been pitching as well as any starter in the National League. Home run was the 22nd hit off of Kennedy this year.
Interesting to see Kennedy take a couple of steps backwards after a year last year where he was really unhittable. 21 and 4. You mentioned earlier Al, 4th in Cy Young balloting. It's hard to imagine that 3 guys had better years than him. 1-2-3 inning for Kennedy in the 5th. 2-0 St. Louis. But they certainly turned it around.
Matt Holliday has really improved, but we thought this one he got a little late jump on it. And then John Jay got all turned around on this one with a late jump. But Holiday turned it around with his 2-run home run, the only scoring in this ball game, and the only scoring because of this great catch by John Jay. Remember, he injured himself crashing the wall earlier, so he runs in there, defies his body, a little juggling act at the end, and he holds on to it for another wet gem. So they atoned for a couple misplays, but
and
really,
then some.
And then they really didn't do anything because Kelly was able to pitch around. A couple extra base hits there, and he's thrown 5 shutout innings. He's only allowed 4 hits.
This is a good offensive club here with the Diamondbacks. In many ways, they kind of mirror the Cardinals' offense. They're 4th in the National League in batting. And they run about the same, and they hit for power about the same. The pitch count of Joe Kelly at 77.
Good ratio compared to what he's done in the past, and hopefully he can get beyond this 6th inning.
You know, we've credited throughout this season the maturity of the young Cardinal pitchers, and I think there's a degree to which you have to give credit to Lance Lynn and to Joe Kelly for that. But you think about the minor league pitching coaches that got them ready, and you also think about sending them to the big leagues, and you got a guy named Yadier Molina behind the plate. I think that's a couple of factors we need to talk about a little bit too.
Right, no doubt about it. Yadi, the best in the business, just take his example. They feel a little like they've got an old friend in Dyer Miller who's down there in the bullpen, but I think it even starts in spring training, because when you talk about a Lance Lynn, you talk about Kelly and even Rosenthal, that they were really good kids in spring training. Didn't act like they'd been a 10-year veteran.
Hill is retired. The NFL is back, and Fox's preseason coverage begins on Thursday as the Bengals take on the Falcons. And on Friday, the Lions head to Baltimore to square off against the Ravens. Coverage of both games begins at 7 p.m. only on Fox.
Kelly, Lynn, and Rosenthal all, really handled themselves very well in spring training. They would hang around the veteran pitchers, ask questions, trying to learn as much as they could. And I think Carpenter and Wainwright, Loesch, Westbrook, they all respond to him, help him out, because they like it when they're asked questions.
You almost equate that relationship to somewhat like having an older brother. I mean, it's not really a fatherly figure, but when you've got a teammate like a Wainwright, Westbrook, Carpenter, those are guys that kind of been through some things a little bit before you, and it's kind of nice to be able to look to somebody for that kind of guidance. But it's not really a coach, but it's somebody that you certainly respect and look towards.
I mean, coaches are one thing, but you really do have to have a teammate that you can go to and be a sounding board. Who helped you?
Bob Forsch.
Naturally.
Yeah, Bob was clearly the guy. Bruce Sutter helped me a lot in the bullpen, learning how to warm up, learning how to throw, learn to stop throwing.
I could name people like Lou Brock. Gibson probably had the biggest influence in my career, but I was, guys like Alan Foster, a roommate that you had that kind of made me believe in myself. Tom Murphy was another guy that kind of, journeyman, but in my mind they were giants because they built me up to be more than what I thought I would be at the time.
And part of that journey doesn't just happen at the big league level, as you say. It's the guys along the way. Lee Thomas was a big part of my development in terms of believing that I could be a big leaguer, as well as a number of teammates. He just had that ability to instill confidence in his players.
There's Red. You had the pleasure of playing for Red, and he treated you like a man. Lefty was on the ball club. Steve Carlton when I first got to the big leagues.
Power inning for Joe Kelly. A couple of ground balls and a strikeout. John Jay when we come back. Largest 4G network, AT&T, rethink possible. And by Ford, the official vehicles of the Cardinals. 2-0 St. Louis. Only 3 hits on the night for the Cardinals, but the big blow, Matt Holliday. 2-run shot in the 4th. John Jay, Alan Craig, and Holliday will bat here in the Cardinals' 6th. A long one to right. Is it long enough? You bet it is. Home run, John Jay, 3-0 St. Louis.
That's how you extend your hitting streak to 8 games. His 4th home run, 25 RBIs now. He's taken over the role of catalyst to his ball club with one step better. He didn't need somebody to drive him in. He just drove himself in.
Joe Kelly at the end of the receiving line.
Sound good, look good coming off the bat. Launches it deep into the Cardinal bullpen. Bounces back out.
Another hard hit to left center off the bat of Alan Craig. He's thinking about 2. Could be a close play there, and Craig is safe. Cardinals come out swinging here in the 6th.
Cardinals can do that to you. All of a sudden, if you get the ball up out over the plate, they're going to make you pay. Alan Craig picks up his 2nd hit. And you talked about the outfield arms here. They've got some pretty good ones. Kubel's got 11 assists, lead the National League. And I think he was going to be safe either way, but Aaron Hill couldn't hold on to it. It was all academic.
And Parra in center field has one of the top 5 arms in terms of strength in all of baseball. He has a cannon in center, Upton a good arm in right.
We've seen him play a lot in right field when Upton was hurt. So, but when you hit him over the wall, those arms don't do you much good.
And Holliday has done that already. Tries to go back inside again. That's interesting.
Well, the one thing that, he made sure he got it in far enough. But the one thing they said this year, different than last year, is instead of hitting his spots, he's getting the ball up over the middle of the plate and being hurt by it.
75 pitches for Kennedy. 2-0 to Holiday. Could be a go pitch here. Swing and a miss.
Took a little off there is the changeup.
Those good hitters counts 2-0, 3-1.
Yeah, that was a good arm action too, as it looks fastball until the ball starts coming out of his hand, and then everything decelerated.
Being very careful with Matt Holliday, and I can't blame him.
But the problem is now he's falling behind into a hitter's count, 3-1. Got first base open, 3-1. He's hit a 2-run home run off you, and Beltran, who you've struck out twice, has hit 2 home runs the last time.
And for the 55th time, Matt Holliday has walked. 2 on for Carlos Beltran. Krispy Kreme dozen deal. If your St. Louis Cardinals get 9 hits today, you're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow to receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for just $3.99. Stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kremes for this sensational deal. Carlos Beltran has struck out twice. But has hit the Diamondbacks and Ian Kennedy very well.
Backdoor breaking ball for strike 1.
Over 350 in his career against the Diamondbacks, 353 against Kennedy, including that big night in Arizona in early May. And an opportunity to break it open here.
Gone away from his cutter and throwing a lot more breaking balls. Matt Albers, right-hander throwing. Bullpen has been pretty good for Arizona. So
very
add
good
on.
Very good in July. Collectively a 2.76 ERA for the Diamondback bullpen in July.
And a fastball out over the plate. Fouled it back. He had a shot there.
You mentioned the home runs that Kennedy has given up on the season, quite a few, but the Cardinals especially have hurt him with the long ball.
Beltran hit 2 out in Arizona against Kennedy, and he's given up 2 more home runs tonight here. Total of 23 on the season.
The hat trick for Beltran. Don't see that very often. Swings through a high fastball. Got him to chase.
Up out of the strike zone, but it's eye level. You see it. Commit to it. You can't stop your swing. Either you swing through it or pop it up. A couple young men there. 2 of the better defenders. And really kind of chasing each other with defensive web gems.
Good friends.
John Jay now has 13. And Descalzo has 11.
Watch out. That ball up and in to David Freese. It was bounced out and walked.
Montero wants to talk to him. Trying to set up inside, and the ball just goes up there. Like to see a guy spin completely away from that. Don't leave your head vulnerable.
Diamondbacks a game over 500. The Cardinals 9 games over 500. 7 games out in the Central. One-0. Swing and a miss. Diamondbacks have been hurt by injury this year, as have the Cardinals. Daniel Hudson, one of their starting pitchers, with Tommy John surgery. Takashi Saito just put on the disabled list today.
And we won't see Matt Adams as a September call-up, as he went under the knife for bone spurs today.
We like what we saw from him in spring training and his time up here in St. Louis, and still was putting up the big numbers, but had a very, you don't want to say it's minor because all surgery has its issues, but
if you're going to take it, that's the least evasive.
Swing and a miss on a high fastball.
And they feel that he will have a normal off season and be ready for spring training, Matt Adams.
Craig the runner at second. Holiday at first. David Freese, RBI opportunity. He already has 64. Swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch and an off-balance swing at that. So it'll be up to Yadier Molina to add to the Cardinals' lead here in the 6th.
David Freese, get him to reach like that, and I don't want to say he gives away at bats, but at times, he'll swing at a pitch that's virtually unhittable. Or if you make contact there, you can't do anything with it. But it's just that he's a streaky hitter. He'll go through hot and cold spells.
Ground ball to the right side. Goldschmidt has it. Takes it himself. So the Cardinals get one. Could have gotten more. Thanks to John Jay's homer. In the very first game in Diamondbacks history.
A couple of our favorites.
Andy Benes and Darryl Kyle. And on the 31st of March in '98, the Diamondbacks got good in a hurry, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Of course, I remember, they had an advantage over all the other expansion teams where they were allowed to really develop 3 or 4 years before they could, come into the major leagues. They got, like a AA, AAA team, and Don Baylor was Colorado's first manager.
Kelly facing Upton, Montero, and Wheeler. The early new franchises, you think about the 60s, they had no chance.
Oh, no. I mean, they had an expansion draft, and then they started playing the next year.
Right.
And that's where you got 120 losses by the New York Mets.
62.
62, and, there was a bunch of
I think I saw a few of
guys,
those.
yeah, and I mean, it was just had no chance.
Hard hit to the right side, base hit.
Remember, Arizona, Buck Showalter was hired, I think, 4 years and was being paid $1 million a year. He's going to be their manager, but he really set up their whole farm system. You know, they drafted, I think they had an A ball, a double A, a triple A team, draft or teams playing for 3 years before they played their first major league game. And they paid him $1 million a year, to sit there and try and write a formula. How do you want to play baseball? Start that, in the A ball team, carry it through the double A, the triple A, and so their first year they had the major league team. They'd already been playing 3 years with a minor league system.
(3-0) St. Louis. Each team with 5 hits, no errors. Joe Kelly working into the 7th.
Mujica is warming up for the Cardinals.
Deep to center. Jay is back, and he runs out of room. 2-run shot for Miguel Montero, and it's 3-2 St. Louis. That ball carried very well to center field, was very well struck. His 14th home run of the season.
We're talking about Montero, who's, you look at the last few years, he's been almost the second best offensive catcher in baseball. And hits it to the deepest part, center field. John Jay runs out of room halfway up on the grass backdrop. We got a ball game.
Cardinals had a chance to add more in the bottom of the 6th. Home run for John Jay. Double by Alan Craig. A walk to Matt Holliday, but then a couple of strikeouts and a ground ball, and the Cardinals were through in the 6th. So just a 1-run lead now. Kelly keeps working in the 7th.
I know in his last 7 starts, he is not. 3 starts ago, he went 6 1/3 innings, and that's one of the few times I think I remember him going in pitching in the 7th.
Pitch count at 96. Still looks strong. Well hit to left. Holliday back on the track, and he makes the play. Good power the other way by Ryan Wheeler. And that got Mike Matheny's attention.
And Mujica is ready now, so it looks like Mike's going to make that pitching change. He can only be the winner, Kelly, and he's done a good job. Now it's up to the bullpen.
We'll see if they can finish it off. Congratulating John Jay for being the Schnucks difference maker. 1 for 3, solo home run in the 6th inning, and also a very good play defensively.
And that home run is now the difference in this ball game. So Kelly went 6 shutout innings, ran into a little trouble as he gave up only 2 of his 6 hits. One was the 2-run home run. Mojica, as our Mid-America Chevy dealers call the bullpen. This is combined numbers between Florida and here in St. Louis, but it's with the Cardinals, he's been perfect. Doing a great job in the 7th inning. He is not allowed a run as a Cardinal. This will be his 6th appearance. Kelly can only be the winner.
Hoping for his 3rd victory of the season. First pitch by Mojica is laced in the center by Parra. Diamondbacks not through here in the 7th. Ian Kennedy will bat for himself. Sacrifice situation here. The line for Joe Kelly, not much different, actually a little better than the line for Jaime Garcia in his outing in Memphis. Garcia went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts in 93 pitches.
He's got his pitch count up to 100, but he only went 5 innings.
Gave up just 4 hits in those 5 innings, so very similar starts. Not that it's apples and apples when you think about what Joe Kelly did here.
No, not at all. Different competition. He was playing Garcia against Salt Lake City.
Squaring around the bunt, taking a fastball high, is Ian Kennedy.
I think elevating that ball, trying to get him to pop the bunt up.
And with the lead, you want to make sure you get an out. Parra runs well at first.
On behind 2-0.
Mojica is known as a man that throws strikes. 44 innings on the season and just 9 walks. Very good ratio. And really, that's what you need your relievers to do. You want them to be good, you want them to get outs, but you sure don't want them to walk people.
So a lot of times you're coming in with men on base, and so you don't want to further the damage by walking people. Kennedy trying to be a little too fine with his bunt, not getting the bat angled properly in fair territory.
Turning around a little late too, almost as if it's a push bunt, and hasn't worked for him yet. 2-2 the count now. Look at the Cardinals defense. Freeze will charge again.
So I have to assume the bunt's on with 2 strikes.
Much better bunt. Gets the job done. Mojica throws to Schumacher. One more out to get for Mojica if Joe Kelly is to remain the pitcher of record on the positive side. 6 1/3 strong innings for Kelly In his career, just 2 for 15 is Stephen Drew against Mujica.
So it's the do factor when somebody, that's beginning when you got 15 at bats. It does tell a little story.
It does.
A lot of times we're looking at 5 or 6 at bats. It's not enough of a barometer. 15, you start learning something.
Are the runner at second.
Chinsky warming up in the bullpen.
Drew hit the ball to John Jay, where he made that very nice play up against the center field ball to end the 5th inning. And he tagged that ball. He has pretty good pop. Got a 270 hitter in his major league career. Good solid shortstop. Now Yadier Molina wanting to make sure the signs are right and the approach is right. Imagine to some degree they're still learning each other a bit.
Absolutely. Only his 6th appearance together, and game on the line, you want to make sure you're both on the same page. So
when you come to a new club, the first guy you usually meet is the clubhouse guy, but the catcher's not too far behind him if you're a pitcher. The 2-2. Now 3-2.
And you know, a lot of times Yachty probably doesn't know that Mujica's had this dominance over Stephen Drew, and sometimes you sit there and say, okay, how did you get him out? What do you want to throw here?
That was a good choice. Call 3rd strike. Mujica does his job, and it's time to stretch here in St. Louis. The Cardinals maintaining a 3-2 lead. Tonight, if the Cardinals score 6, any size drink, just 50 cents all day tomorrow at your nearest on the run at Mobile. This year, 6 is a serious number. Cardinals halfway there, lead 3-2. Batting in the bottom of the 7th, it'll be Schumacher for call, and a pinch hitter for Edward Mujica, who got the Cardinals through the top of the 7th.
Good formula for the Cardinals when they go to their bullpen is now Mujica in the 7th, Boggs warming up for the 8th, and Jason Mott the 9th.
Little looping liner over the head of Drew, and it's a base hit for Schumacher. A little insurance would be nice.
Extra set of reps with the weights helped out on that one, didn't it?
And he does work those weights, doesn't he?
Yeah, muscled it over the infield. 0 for 8 before this one.
Now, will the Cardinals bunt here? Furcal tripled in the 3rd. Popped out in the 5th. Takes a fastball high and tight. 1-0.
Matt Carpenter is at the on deck circle. Been a good pinch hitter for the Cardinals, especially at home. He had a big day on Sunday. Brad Ziegler, right-hander, warming up for Arizona.
There's Carpenter. Average continues to climb up among the rookie leaders in a lot of offensive categories.
That little throw over, just take the spring life out of the legs of Schumacher, but also see if Furcal would give away if the bunt was still on with a 2-0 count.
There's the bunt attempt. Well done, and the flip is dropped by Goldschmidt. Kennedy did a little double clutch with the flip to Goldschmidt, and I think it threw off his timing a bit.
I think you're absolutely right. And you got to, you know it's going to be a close play with Furcal really running hard down the line. But look at here. He went to throw it, then he tries it reset, and it's a bang-bang play anyway. He might have been safe. I know he would have been out, but
close play, though.
Goldschmidt couldn't hold on to it. Just that knowing the runner's coming right same time that ball's coming there, and they misconnect.
I'm going to guess that's the first baseman's error, but probably should be the pitcher.
I think they gave him a hit.
No, that'd be interesting. Well, they talk on the mound. We'll remind you we're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Rick Horton, Al Roboski, and Jim Hayes. Beautiful night in St. Louis. Cardinals jumped out on top thanks to Matt Holliday, a 2-run shot in the 4th. Miguel Montero had a 2-run homer for the Diamondbacks. That came in the 7th to tighten this game up a bit. Joe Kelly and Ian Kennedy, the starters. And Kelly has been just a little bit better.
And now they say sacrifice E1.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Proper call.
Shane Robinson, will he be bunting? Try him again. Schumacher hurrying back to the bag at second base, but no need to. There isn't anybody within 50 feet of him. Wheel play was on. Stephen Drew was headed towards third. Now that it's 1-0, do you let Shane Robinson swing the bat? One more look at Furcal's bunt.
Watch the left hand by Fakal as the glove comes there, and he knocks it out. You would think somebody would have seen that. They gave an error on the pitcher. I kind of wondered why it would be an error on the pitcher, because the throw was right there, but
he couldn't have seen where that ball was going to be with his arm behind him.
Right.
Could he?
No.
He's not that smart a player, is he?
I don't think so. And he might have been trying to throw an elbow or a hand at the glove, but
it worked.
Pulled it right out of the pocket.
Intentional or not, it worked. Again, very good camera work picking that up. Fantastic crew here at Busch Stadium. There's a pickoff attempt. And that pickoff usually follows when a team does the wheel play. They'll send the shortstop away from second base and try to tease the runner into getting a little bit extra lead, and then the second baseman sneaks in.
The runner can see the second baseman. He's got to depend on the third base coach to where the shortstop is, and a lot of times the third base coach will say when he sees the shortstop breaking to third, he'll say get off, and that's when the second baseman comes in there for the pickoff.
Well, they've used 3 different bunt plays in 3 pitches. The wheel play, the pickoff play, and then everybody hung tight on that one.
Still want to bunt the ball down the third baseline. Hard enough to get it by the pitcher, make the third baseman come in to field it.
There's a bunt back to Kennedy, and he's going to have a shot at third. He throws it away. Throws it into left field. The Cardinals are going to score, and it's 4-2 St. Louis.
Not only do they score, but they end up with 2 runners in scoring position at second and third. Kennedy had 2 errors coming in, and he's got 2 errors in this inning.
And he had Schumacher for sure.
Dead to rights. All it took was a good throw, as Schumacher's dead. Poor bunt, but look at, he drops that elbow, and it just elevates right over the third baseman. Skip has no chance. Just going to go there. Get tangled up, but it really doesn't make any difference. He comes home 4-2, and now they're going to load the bases.
You could hear Montero, the catcher, yelling 3-3. The choice was right. The throw was poor.
They create a force play at any base. Ziegler is warming up, and he may inherit a bases loaded situation and nobody out.
Highest earned run average against the Cardinals since 2011, a minimum of 3 starts. 3 pitchers that the Cardinals have feasted on. One of them is tonight's starter, Ian Kennedy. ERA over 10. Gibson goes to his bullpen. Can't wait to see him hit. Brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And by Taco Bell. Live Moss. Cardinals threatening for more here in the bottom of the 7th inning. For Call, Robinson, and John Jay are the runners. 2 errors in the inning by the Diamondback starter Ian Kennedy that created this situation and this Mid-America Chevy Dealers call to the bullpen. And the right-hander is Brad Ziegler. And he will face Alan Craig, who's been very good with runners in scoring position. And 387 on the season.
Yeah, it's tops in the National League, but one of the reasons they go to Ziegler, he leads all major league relievers with 13 ground into double plays. He's held right-handed hitters without a home run for his last 331 at bats. He's a submariner from Springfield, Missouri. Second year with Arizona. He'd been with Oakland prior to that. Kennedy can only think about those 2 errors and what will the score be when he gets out of this inning.
Nobody out. And there should be 2 outs.
Ziegler supports members of the U.S. military and their families through his foundation, Pastime for Patriots. PastimeForPatriots.org if you're interested. I like him already.
You bet. But you'd still like to see him give up a knock here to Alan Craig. Craig already has 2 hits on the night, single to scored in the 4th inning and a double in the 6th.
They have one lefty in their bullpen. He is not warming up.
That's Mike Zagurski. He was just
recalled yeah.
from AAA. We mentioned Saito went on the disabled list.
And this is one of their go-to guys, so.
Michigan State, Michigan. Key moment. Cardinals getting another chance to add on. They had one in the 6th inning.
They got the Jay home run, but they had runners at first and second. Nobody out and couldn't push another run across.
Ground ball to left side. Drew can't come home. Has to go to first. Good break by Furcal. And the Cardinals score again. RBI ground out for Craig. That is RBI number 60 for him.
Been an RBI machine. If he hits that ball any harder, they get a double play. Infield in, but kind of a little tapper right here. He thinks about where he can go. It's a force out at the plate, but he chooses to go to first base, get a sure out, and an RBI for Alan Craig.
5-2 St. Louis.
Add on.
Infield still in. This time with Holiday at the plate. And he takes strike 1.
Matt, 2 RBIs, second in the National League with his 81. 2 away from Beltran, the on-deck hitter. With 2 RBIs sitting out there in scoring position for him.
Ground ball to second. They're coming home. Play at the plate, and they tag out Robinson. Well executed by Aaron Hill and Miguel Montero. As Robinson was going on contact, as he should.
Yeah, especially being the right side. Make them execute. And Aaron Hill has been very steady, and he does so.
Hasn't made an error in 36 straight games.
That bat, he had to slide right over the bat.
Ouch.
Yeah. It happened so quickly, and where Beltran was stationed, he couldn't go out there and try and get that bat out of the way.
Sometimes an umpire will even try to do that.
That would have been tough for the umpire to get that out of the way, too.
Got to worry about making the call. So it's Beltran at the plate. Runners at the corners for St. Louis. He takes strike one. Ziegler's got a couple of ground balls his first two batters.
So I said, he's induced the most double play balls by any major league reliever. A lot of times submariners like this, lefties get a good look at the release.
Ground ball to the right side. Holiday avoids the ball hitting him.
Good job by Ziegler.
Ziegler gets it done, but the Cardinals extend their lead. Let's go to Pat Paris in our studio with another Bommarito Sports Update. Pat? Thanks, Pat, for the update on those two very important games going on in the National League Central. Mitchell Boggs will be the new Cardinal pitcher in the 8th inning, and this, as you mentioned, Al, is his slot.
That's right. Come in here. Did suffer his third blown save of the year when he allowed a 3-run home run in the 8th on Sunday. But the negative part of that was that Zepchinski walked to two lefties when he came in. Boggs get back on a good streak. He's allowed runs the last two. Remember, he had that, two of the last three. He's allowed runs, but he had that 23 straight scoreless appearances. And at some point that you got to break that up, but then you start another one.
An important inning here as he's facing 2, 3, and 4. And our partner Dan McLaughlin loves to talk about, and I think rightfully so, that there are times where the 8th inning is just as important as the 9th inning, depending upon where you are in the batting order. These are no easy outs.
Earlier this year, I saw some writers were even talking about allowing an official scorer to award a save, to someone that comes in a more difficult situation than the 9th inning.
Ball hit hard to left. Holiday is back. He is at the track, and he reaches up and makes the play. Not much to spare there. And you think Mitchell Boggs is breathing a little easier right now. The pitch, the reaction.
Here we go. Here we go again. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's an out. It's not quite what he was thinking, but
no. Well,
that was a safer interpretation.
You have relief, and then you realize you still can't let that happen.
Right. Just in your mind, you say, well, you got the first guy out, go on to the next, but decide to be a little more careful.
That pitch at 96. We've seen some gas from the Cardinal pitchers tonight.
Sometimes, you wonder how hitters square the ball up because he can throw at such high velocity with such sink.
Weak ground ball to second. Out number 2. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of our St. Louis Cardinals.
Bad news from Cincinnati. They pull it out in the bottom of the ninth. They win 3-0 over the Mets. Somehow they got 3 runs. Sounded like a 3-run home run. Good news, LA still has a 6-0 lead. Batting in the ninth over the Pirates. It was Jay Bruce with a 3-run bomb. But that's for the fans to kind of look at,
Sure.
on. All the Cardinals can do is just win their ball game and take care of their own business. They could take care of Pittsburgh over the weekend. They'll have a chance at Cincinnati, later on after this homestand on the first leg of a tough road trip, 3 cities.
34,587 fans oohing and eyeing here at the ballpark tonight. And there really is a difference. You think about the fans, the way we react to games out of town versus what the players have to think. I mean, they can't afford to think about that. It's hard enough to do what they're doing. That can become a distraction and a negative, but it's okay for us to scoreboard watch.
Sure. Now, I used to use it as motivation.
Sure.
I would, look up there and say, I've got to do my job just to keep us where we are in the standings. Or you see a loss posted by a team you're chasing and say, now I got to do my job so we can pick up ground. So some people like to look at it, other people don't.
Full count to Goldschmidt. Swing and a miss. Boggs strikes him out. That's 3 strikeouts on the night for him. A 1-2-3 inning for Mitchell Boggs. our Nissan drives of the game to thank for it.
Holiday, a 2-run shot. We got him on the scoreboard. Then John Jay adds one. These are our Nissan drives of the game. John Jay's 4th home run. Cardinals were able to add a couple more in the 7th inning. A couple unearned runs off of the starter Kennedy, and now it's Shaw, the 3rd pitcher employed. His numbers on the season, he had a really good June as he held opponents to a .079 average, but he was recalled from AAA Reno on August the 12th. Made his Major League debut last season.
Good slider to David Freese, who's 0 for 2.
Shaw enters the 5th season with the D-backs organization and one of 3 Division Series pitchers to make at least 4 hitless appearances.
Popped up on the right side. Who wants it? They both do.
The little guy won.
This had problems written all over it, didn't it?
Yeah, well, look, Goldschmidt doesn't think Aaron Hill's going to catch it. Aaron Hill is a little more sure-handed, but Goldschmidt has the reach on him, but
good thing Aaron Hill
didn't knock that.
And he had his second hand there to cover up that glove. Not pretty.
That's an out.
Now Yadier Molina takes strike 1. I couldn't help but thinking when you made the comment that Ian Kennedy gave up 2 unearned runs, I thought, well, that was kind of his own fault because both of the errors were his.
Correct.
And there are people that will ask us all the time, Al, do we think that that should be an earned run if the pitcher makes the error? What do you think about that? I get emails on that, and it's almost as if, hey, the pitcher caused it himself. He should get an earned run for it.
I kind of would say yes.
Yeah. I'd want to look back on my stats and make sure that that would not be a retroactive problem, though.
In the minor leagues, you know how you beat me? You bunted off me.
Is that how I did that?
No, I mean, I would storm off the mound.
I thought you meant me in
particular. No, I mean 18. And I would storm off the mound. I'd step on the ball, pick it up, and throw it away. You know, and then I get so mad at myself that I would self-destruct. Then I learned how to channel that energy. Remember, I was in the minor leagues with Ken Griffey Jr. and he was trying to learn how to bunt. He was ordered to bunt one time, at least once a game. So the first pitch, I'd knock him down and say, "Bunt twice tomorrow." And Senior, Griffey Senior.
Skip Schumacher singled and scored in that crazy 7th inning when Diamondbacks gave the Cardinals a couple of runs. Schumacher had the only hit in that inning. Cardinals scored twice, and they lead it 5-2. Jason Mott should have the 9th. Upton, Montero, and Wheeler scheduled for the Diamondbacks.
Shaw is another young man that attended Cal State Long Beach. I think who we saw over the weekend that pitched there.
Ball gets away from Montero. That sends Molina to second. Not sure if he was crossed up, but it looked like a pass ball to me, as ball was certainly a pitch he could have handled. Let's look at it again.
Scored as a wild pitch, but that ball didn't really touch the dirt until it got by him. And he might have been looking for it away, and then you throw it inside. It's hard to make that adjustment.
I can live with that.
Everything's a wild pitch.
I know. I can live with that one, I guess, looking at it on the replay.
That could be a big additional run out there.
Wainwright and Saunders will pitch game 2 tomorrow. Line drive to left, base hit for Schumacher. Molina's going to have to stop at third. Throw comes in. Cardinals threatening for more here in the 8th inning. Schumacher's second hit of the night.
2 for 4.
11 outfield assists in left field.
No way.
Gianni didn't really want to test it and make it 12.
He go over there. The ball got by him, then he could walk on home, but he feels that ball cleanly. He's right where he needs to be. Set up nice for call right here. Runners at first and third, 1 out. Carpenter ready to pinch hit for Boggs.
Ground ball to the right side. Goldschmidt is going to tag for call. Almost made that decision a little bit too late, as he was holding the runner Molina back at third. He eyeballed him and almost missed his shot at for call.
Here's what you're talking about. It almost got by him, but he reaches over and makes a tag. So 2 runners in scoring position, and Matt Carpenter mentioned earlier he had quite the day on Sunday, as Carpenter tied his career best with 4 hits at Philadelphia and also had 3 RBIs. He's tied for 5th among National League rookies with 28 RBIs. 16 of those 28 have come here at home. And as a pinch hitter, he's got 8 pinch hit RBIs.
Molina and Schumacher the runners. Carpenter looking to add to that RBI total. Grounds it foul.
Mott's going to pitch either way. Is it going to be a save situation, or will he come into a non-save situation? I want to see the RBIs for Carpenter, and I want to see a save for Mott.
Can't have both.
I want them. I want them both.
Last time the Cardinals had a rookie with 8 pinch hit RBIs was 1987.
Johnny Morris.
Johnny Mo.
Well, I think he's working now scouting for Cincinnati.
Every time I see him, he was very funny. He did an impersonation of Kirk Gibson that was hilarious.
Well, remember how you could do one on Willie?
Yep, he did Willie.
McGee. That was priceless.
very good friend, good teammate. Every time I see John
would
Morris,
laugh at it, but Gibson may not.
Well, Gibby didn't, because he went in his locker, took his uniform to do the impersonation, and Gibby didn't like anybody touching his stuff.
I don't blame him.
So that became a bit of a problem, and eventually Gibby came around and thought it was funny, but Johnny Moe.
Did he go to the hospital first?
No.
That would have been funny.
Kirk Gibson was all business, just
Yes,
like our
sir.
Gibby.
Oh, yeah.
The 2-2. Grounded foul. One time I had a chance to play in the outfield was in Philadelphia in a 15-1 game. Jose Oquendo was pitching. Willie McGee was playing shortstop, and I was playing right. Johnny Moe was the center fielder. And all he did is look over at me and laugh. And he kept saying, "You have no idea what you're doing, do you?"
One like Todd Worrell, who could play the outfield.
Exactly.
Power shag.
We laugh about that.
(3-2), 2 outs. Base hit to the outfield, and the Cardinals should have 2 more runs, even with their good throwing arms. 3-2 and 2 outs.
Off-speed pitch, a good hack at that, fouls it back, and a good jump off a second for Schumacher. Get that big lead, get that big jump. Oquendo communicating with both runners right now. Molina at third, Schumacher at second.
Middle infielders aren't paying any attention to Schumacher, so he's off with the pitch.
Hard hit to center, and it is no call yet, and they're going to say he caught it. I'm not sure he did.
Boy, the third base umpire and second base umpire both looked at each other.
Second base umpire is saying he didn't catch it. Both runs have scored.
There's going to be an argument, though, because the second base umpire, and that is our crew chief, Gary Darling, did not go out. He first looked at third base umpire. Third base umpire called out, and then Darling said it was a trap.
And Kirk Gibson, you could see him saying, "Are you sure?" And he said, "I'm sure."
Parra did what he needs to do. Didn't get the Academy Award, but he tries to sell it as a catch. And like we said, 2 more runs in, 10 pinch hit RBIs now for Carpenter.
And you get half of what you wanted, Al. You get the RBIs for Carpenter.
Well, look at right here. We'll get a good look at it. And it is a trap. There's no doubt about it. So it is the base hit, a double, and 2 RBIs for Carpenter.
Both umpires looked at each other for a very long time before anybody made a call. The first call came from Paul Emmel, who said he was out, and then right away Gary Darling overruled it.
Yeah, but it's like, why did you look at him? Our second base umpire, why did he look to the third base umpire? And
I would agree with that.
The bottom line is they got it right, but it was weird how they did call it. Now that we got our mobile on the run, and it's a 5-run lead, Salas is throwing in the bullpen, but like I said, Mott needs a little work too. Mott hasn't pitched since the 11th of this month. Don't want to go much more than 3 days. I mean, most guys would say they don't want any more time off than 2 days if you're a closer.
Still just love that at bat for Matt Carpenter. May have messed up Jason Mott's save opportunity, but no problem with that. 7th pinch hit, 24 appearances, 10 RBIs. Good effort by Parra, the center fielder. Clearly a ball he trapped.
He did what he needed to do to try and sell it as a catch.
Hard hit, base hit to right for Jay. Here comes Carpenter. He's going to score, and it's 8-2 St. Louis.
Second RBI for John Jay as he scores Carpenter. It's the third hit and a walk, and looks like we're going to have another pitching change. Ball up a little bit. They wanted it up higher above the strike zone, and Nagy is out there as they get a reliever ready. Matt Alberts, we saw him up earlier. He's up again.
Not many strike zone complaints tonight. Scott Berry working behind the plate. Second year as a big league umpire. Gary Darling got that call right in center field. Again, it took him a while to make it. And you wonder what would have happened if he makes that call if there'd have been a runner at first and third base umpire calls him out. That runner leaves the base paths halfway between second and third.
You're the guy with the rule book.
Well, I hear you. I got the rule
when you
book.
get down to C or D, you know, with this scenario and that, if this happens and that happens, just let me know.
I would call it a 2-stroke penalty and a free draw.
Okay, I got that one.
Alan Craig 2 for 4. Those 2 hits came against the starter Ian Kennedy, who's on the hook for his 10th loss. Hard hit down the right field line, slicing foul.
Cardinals have 4 batters with 60 or more RBIs. They got the 2 National League leaders, Beltran with 83, Holiday 81. You got Freeze with 64 and 64 Alan Craig. Lena pushing, 60.
He'll get there sooner or later.
Yeah, he'll get there, but a lot of production in the middle of the order. Alan Craig has got those 60 RBIs, and remember he had 2 long stints on the disabled list. He's done it as he's playing in his 74th game. Leads the National League with batting with runners in scoring position coming in.
Swing and a miss. The ball gets past Montero. It's going to be a close play at first base, but he gets Craig. Strikeout 2-3. Cardinals strike with 3 more in the 8th on 3 hits. Salas has the 9th.
is coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery. Cardinals Live. Pat Paris, Cal Eldred are at Lumiere Place. We'll get an update on Jaime Garcia's rehab start for Memphis. Cal tells us what the future holds for Joe Kelly, plus another edition of Mic'd Up. Matt Carpenter slides over to first base after doing a little offensive damage. We send it back to the booth. And Rick and Al, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Matt Carpenter stays in the game. He'll play first base, a big hit in the 8th inning. And Fernando Salas will do the pitching here in the 9th.
New battery is Cruz is now catching Salas. Salas up and down season, but he has 3 scoreless appearances in a row. See if he can't have a real efficient 9th inning. Start with Upton.
First pitch is high.
His control has been all over the place this year. Pitching behind the count an awful lot. Changeup has betrayed him.
Low strike. 21 walks in 41 innings is not the Fernando Salas we saw a year ago.
Last year, you know, he just about a third of that walk total would make sense.
One thing we saw a bit towards the end of the season with Salas, for those that remember the great run he had, he started to give up a few more home runs, but that's much less of a problem than the number of walks that he's had this year.
And I think that came as he was just kind of worn out.
Right. Off-speed pitch, swing and a miss. Upton chased it. So an up and down season for Salas, but it's been an odd season for the Cardinals as well. When you start to look at their numbers in particular situations, hard to make sense of.
I just want to concentrate on those bottom 2. You know, 37 times they've scored 7 or more runs. Best offense in the National League. But with that best offense, 31 times they've only had 2 or less runs. And that just doesn't compute. That's part of the reason why they have not had a good record in extra innings or in one-run games.
So the Cardinals, as we've been talking about and showing in graphics over the last few weeks, have a tremendous run differential in terms of the number of runs they've scored versus given up, but yet that's not always equating to wins.
Usually when the team has the run differential that we have, they're going to be in the playoffs, and that's still an if.
Our Budweiser player of the game, Joe Kelly, 97 pitches on the night, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Pick up his 3rd win. Once again, he should have a better record than that 3-5 with 2 more outs.
Ryan Wheeler bats with 2 outs in the 9th. Fly ball to left. Holiday eyeballing it, and he's got it. Cardinals 8-2 victors in Game 1 of this series and this homestand. They did it with the long ball and a few errors as far as the Diamondbacks
well,
are
they have
concerned.
the best home record in Major League since July the 1st. The Cardinals are now 18-5. They've got 8 more games on this homestand. They have to win a bunch of them. They're off to a good start with a victory tonight.
So much to talk about. Don't go away. The Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live postgame show is coming up next.